Hello.
Hello.
I was taking issue with how you were inviting more nuancing by seems like literally using metaphors around hitting people on the heads with hammers. And I'm like, okay, I want to have a good faith interpretation of Natasha trying on something different. Holly
Why
doesn't
do you
necessarily
think she
involve physical
smiled when I
violence.
said that? Do you think she might be tired of being treated like a mouse?
You're implying that she likes these coarse
I
sledgehammer
don't
metaphors.
I don't know. I would doubt whether she's ever actually tried any, but the idea of it, maybe not a hammer, but maybe a belt across her bottom or something, that she would even be treated like that, that she could be spoken to like that, I think would have her smile. Oh, she's smiling. Imagine that.
Uh,
She grew up in this age. She's seen more on YouTube or videos or on the internet than I ever saw in my first 40 years of life. She's seen everything. She's read everything. She knows about all the human variability out there. Yeah. She may not have engaged with it, but she knows about it. And given what she looks like and that she's back for a second time, I am suspicious that she's really tired of what the mouse is getting her.
Feels like there's some threshold that I'm in that I need to break out of. It's like,
So,
yeah,
so now she's at least identified the threshold. It could be food orientated, it could be clothing, it could be sexual, it could be intellectual, it could be 1,000 different things. And if we let her sit in it, it could be half an hour. And instead, I'm going to say, what's the one you really want to push the edges on, Natasha?
Talked about one.
Oh, here we have the pseudo boyfriend mansplaining for you, trying to make it easy for you. Kick him in the nuts, would you?
More like trying to make it harder. Do you want to ask what you were going to say or no?
me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's such a big thing to unpack.
Doesn't like me. And she doesn't know why.
She what?
Doesn't like me and doesn't know why.
Because you're slimy. Because you treat her like she's like an object. Like you know that you're going to get in her pants and there's nothing that she can do about it. Like you've already been there. You're not treating her with any respect. You're treating her like a programmable sex doll. Hang on, stabs in the dark. Oh, it bangs like that. Lacey's in for some. She's gonna do something.
I think something I realized recently was like a really intense aversion to conversation about the future and potential. It's like that was a very like frequent um
So get personal, Natasha. Say, Rian, I hate it when you talk about the future. Just try it on, see what happens.
I don't know if I hate it, but it
It's an
bothers me.
acting exercise. Just say it and see what happens. Your head won't explode, Natasha. God will
Okay.
not.
Uh,
Okay, so fuck off, Natasha. Let's walk through this, really. Repeat after me. Rion, say,
Ria,
I hate it
Beyond.
I hate it
when you talk about the future.
when you talk about the future.
Fine. There you go. You don't have to agonize and do all this processing. You can just say the line. You can just say the line and see what happens. But you, Natasha, the little mouse girl, have to be coaxed to say a line. That's ridiculous, Natasha. That is absolutely ridiculous. Do you agree? Hello?
I'm thinking.
Oh, God. Hang in there, Lacey. Don't use that gun on anybody.
I see how it's like limiting and how it doesn't make my head explode.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, Rosie too. She's loaded for bear.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You guys haven't met?
No.
So we have Natasha. Again, this is all just my bullshit crap. We have Natasha, the little mouse who wants to come out, and she's not going to do it because she's a mouse and she has to be encouraged. So that's something that Alton is very good at. Oh, you're small. I will acknowledge your smallness and I will gradually bring you into a little bit bigger of a place. Then I got Lacey with the dark bangs from hell. Okay. And then we got Rosie, who's just loaded for bear. I don't know what she wants to take out, but I guess I'm it. Go ahead, ladies. Take your best shot.
I'm here too.
Nah, any man who's surrounded by rose petals isn't here.
Does it upset your masculinity?
If you were really rose petals, it would be one thing, but you're not.
What am I?
You're a prickly little cactus.
I am many things.
Oh, great. Lacey, Rosie, please do something. I'm
Can you,
drowning here.
Craig, can you help me with understanding and maybe dismantling my attraction to dissonance?
Why is that a
Nice.
bad thing?
Maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe I need to embrace it.
You're talking like it's a problem. Why is that
I
a
know.
problem?
I genuinely feel like it's a problem.
Why? What makes you think it's a problem?
Because of the way it's manifesting in my life.
Because it's purple? Because it makes confetti appear? What the hell are you talking about?
I feel like I keep knocking things off the counter on tables on purpose so I can clean things up.
No, not so you can clean things up. It's a way of expressing your anger.
Mm.
You're loaded for bear, but you don't have the ball, the ovaries, whatever, to come out and actually engage with the things that are pissing you off. So you fucking do other things. And then you say, oh, oops, you're doing the Natasha thing. Oops, I knocked it off by mistake. I would prefer that you walk over, grab it, and smash it on the ground and say, who's got a problem with this?
Okay, so Rage Club.
Yeah.
That's my homework.
Yeah, go get a regular sized punching bag, put it on the floor, wrap it, hit it with an aluminum baseball bat, only hit straight down, kneel, don't stand. Alton can fill you in
I,
on
I
that.
I'll just keep taking my medicine because I've done that many times.
What? So you're not asking a question that's actually going to lead you anywhere.
Hmm.
You're asking a dramatic, fun-filled question. You're not paying any attention to the, I don't know if it's grief, but it's pretty damn close. That's having you be angry because you're not getting what you want. The rage doesn't come in and of itself. It's an acceptable thing for you to be rather than what it's covering. What's the clock ticking on, Rosie? Time's running out.
Yeah, it's ticking on a couple things. At least that's what my mindset.
I'm not interested in what your mind says. What does your gut say? What's the unacceptable thing that time is running out on?
I'm not going to be this energetic forever. And if I want to build a village, I need to choose where it is. And if I want to have children, I need to also do that within the time frame allotted.
Yeah, and you don't, I mean, you could be a member of a village. You don't have what it takes to build a village.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of that.
Okay, so
But
you're not gonna, but what?
But I'm very good at finding the people who are.
Good, and it's who's going to choose you to have kids with?
Huh.
The ones you want aren't choosing you. And the
It's
ones
not
that
it's not true. I've been pushing. I mean,
they haven't said yes. You're not pregnant. What happens if you don't really want children? What if that's just a lie?
it's also very hard to look at that possibility.
You'd have a lot more fun if you did.
It's true.
You could have much bigger adventures. You could burn that candle at both ends.
I feel so pissed hearing that. Like you could have much bigger adventures. It's not that that's not true. It's like some value system is alive in me that's like a big should, a big like.
Yep. It's not yours.
Yeah. A big reparation. Big like should be in this relationship, should be wanting to have children.
Yeah.
To make my life a reparation.
Yep.
To atone for my sins.
That you believe that you've sinned. That's very fucking stupid. Although, given that you're loaded for bear, they must have been some interesting sins. Yes, Lacey, you're just going to sit there and giggle, or bangs from hell?
That's so funny. They were there last time, Kay. They're just a little bit more brush forward today. I guess like I don't know what working on something.
Let's guess. Let's pause. Let's not take the bull by the horns.
Well,
let's be cautious.
You promote, it seems to be like promote non-cautiousness, like doing different things. how, like, for me, I have this extreme fear dysregulation that comes up in my body daily, that I make a story that that's the reason I don't go out and do these bigger adventures or these bigger things that could make life grander or whatever. And I wonder how to, I don't know, move past that so that when I
Go
do
do the
these,
things.
well, I have sometimes, and then I've gone into some like pretty ungrounded. I guess Maple was the last place I went for a long, like a big adventure. It seemed a big adventure at the time.
Adventure at Maple? Jesus.
And I got really ungrounded and didn't feel great.
Wow, that must have been really exciting.
And afterwards, I thought it was not a good idea, and my body's wanting me to stay close to home.
Oh, your body
But
with its own intelligence. That's your
yeah.
psychology speaking.
So how to change the story? Because internally, there's a lot of negative
So you have a
stories.
story running. You're going to have to
Yeah,
come up with a new story, and it's going to
yeah,
feel this big in comparison to the old story. And if you want to
yeah.
get bigger, you have to practice. You have to do it
Right.
many, many times.
Yes.
You know this. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym once and I'm going to change. No.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's choosing a story then. Choosing a story to keep practicing.
Yes.
I know I don't have one yet. That's why I'm here.
Oh, maybe if you go down to the story store, you can buy a couple.
Right. Yeah.
Look at Natasha. Do you think she has a story of what a carnivore looks like? Do you think she has any vocabulary, any skill sets, any dance move about being a carnivore? No. If she goes looking and processing and trying to find the truth of who she is as a carnivore, it's nowhere. She has to make it up. And then she's going to go, oh, but this doesn't feel authentic. This doesn't feel comfortable. Well, of course it doesn't. You've been typecast as a mouse since day 16. You have to do it until it begins to feel comfortable. Nodding around like a nice little mouse.
Right, but you'd said too that the story we choose from this place isn't even going to be the story that's the one that's like actually.
You have to choose a story. Once you get done reading that one, then you might go and find another one. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Should that stop you because you can't get the nth copy now? You'll never get there unless you start reading other stuff.
So if I go to visit Alton in the Bay, I just get freaked out that I'm going to go there and just feel like so much less than the people that seem to be doing cooler things down there that I just won't even be able to connect. That's like the story I run for myself.
Yes, who cares? Oh, I'm afraid of sitting next to the Hispanics because I might catch Spanish. Oh, yes. Okay. Believe that story. Never sit next to a Spanish person because you might catch Spanishness. I mean, yeah, Lacey, if you go visit Alton and you don't have a plan about how to kick some ass, your own and others, don't go.
I don't have a plan.
Don't go.
Yet. Yeah.
Is anybody even going to have the balls to interrupt? No.
Lacey, I don't think you need a plan. I think like getting your butt kicked can be the best medicine.
Yeah, that's why people who go into gyms without a plan about how to do their workout succeed so often.
I actually have a very specific question for you about a workout regimen, Cray.
And? You're informing me that you have a question. Great.
I want to practice being a narcissist dom or being a dom at all.
Nice.
And what's your point?
I mean, it's just on me to find my own curriculum.
No, it's just crazy. Colton, I'm going to fly out to California and
Yeah.
I want to dom you sexually. Are you okay with that? And he's like, well, within these parameters, yes. And then I want you to give me feedback about how I showed up. And I'm going to want Natasha there so she can witness it.
And use voice commands while driving. Please proceed to the highlight bracket and then the left guidance will start.
I'll go find the experts.
You want
You're
to,
the
oh, you want
expert.
to, oh God. You want to find, so if you want to explore being a top, there's an institute in San Francisco called Light and Dark Institute.
Yeah, we were teaching Rosie this over the kitchen table 2 days ago.
Yes, they're very good at what they do.
There'll be an in-person workshop on the 10th and 11th.
Who's facilitating?
Tommy and Leslie.
Ooh, Leslie is good.
Mhm.
He once said he was afraid of me. That's a hell of a compliment.
Mhm. Yeah, from them, especially. Yeah, I'm
Norman
taking
of
their
the
classes thanks to your
pronouns.
suggestion, Craig.
Yay. Are you just watching, Norman? Yes, I'm watching. Okay.
For now. Trying to find my rhythm for entering.
Just push hard.
I am knee deep in grief from heartbreak as of a week ago, and that's
what?
what's most on my mind.
So what? Do you want to engage with your grief?
I have been.
Do you want to do it now? You don't have to do what your emotions or what your monoculture tells you to do with your emotions. It's not mandatory. You don't have to process your emotions. It's not true. You don't have to give in to them.
I had my grief, but
Okay. So what do you want to do now?
Excited to be here.
Fine. What do you want to do?
The inverse of Rosie. I want to be a sub for
Then fine. Call her up.
a daddy.
Good. Call her up.
Norman.
Say, hey, we can do this online. It's possible. So you both get to try. What?
I keep saying please.
Yeah, great topping exercise. So look, why don't Norman and Rosie, why don't you jump off the call, jump onto a call together? Norman, you can practice being a sub. Rosie, you can practice being a dom. Do it for 15 minutes, then come back and tell us how it was.
I love that. There's a breakout.
There you go. Go to a breakout room. Guys, grab it.
I'm waiting for you to tell me to go into the room, Rosie.
Rosie.
Oh, yeah. Okay, before you go into the room, teach me how to go into the room, Norman. That's your first assignment.
So that is you're bottoming from the top, Rosie.
Yeah, it's great, dog.
No, it's not. Get used to topping from the top before
I already
you
know how to
anything.
do that.
Before you do fuck. Go to room 2. Both of you. Go. Room
Thanks,
2.
Daddy. Thank you, Daddy.
Oh, fuck off. Room 2. Go away.
I don't know how to do it on my phone.
Oh, poor little Rosie.
I think you can be a good dom even if you're not good at technology.
Go.
I think I manually assigned her.
Good. I'm gonna go pee. Oh.
You're not doing anything, Natasha?
Uh,
They're silently watching.
yes.
Is that what you want out of this?
Not really.
And why are you doing what you don't want?
Don't feel any, haven't felt something coming up in me that feels strong enough to put out there and
What do you think?
ponder.
What do you think needs to happen?
Oh.
Yeah, you're putting all the cognitive load on her to choose. I hear that imagine this is probably like the dynamic that makes her apathetic is her having to take on whatever to satisfy. She also said that she didn't know, not that she doesn't like. I imagine that you're here because you want to live a more full or colorful life, like the images you showed us last time. And I have it, Cray absolutely does that. But you do show up here when you're not already living exactly the life that you want to have. And with clear requests or asks, I have that Cray really shines.
Hmm.
But you're gonna have a bad time if you show up when you have a perfect, beautiful crafted tool and you're like, I don't know what I want to do with this tool. And then we're like standing around watching you glaze over, looking at this tool, and I'm like, okay, well,
I don't have a problem taking on the cognitive load. I think she has a problem not having the cognitive load.
that's not your place to say though.
It's not my place to say what I think.
If you want to have a thinking-based relationship, it's gonna be a very flat one. It's my assertion. I have that she wants to be with somebody who's going to create her the context in which she can surrender into. And that's much more challenging when you're demanding of her that she thinks things through.
I'm not demanding that. She's demanding that.
Not what I heard.
I hear a lot more.
Spiky cactus. We'll see how far that gets you.
Annoying.
Wow.
Didn't hear what Lacey said.
Natasha, take Jochen into a room and try to be carnivorous.
Want to
You
do
say
that?
you want to practice.
Yeah, do you Yoken sides? His eyebrows are all like,
Wait, what?
Natasha, ask Jochen to go into a room with you and see if you can practice being carnivorous. Say something that you think is carnivorous, ask for his feedback. Spend 10 minutes there getting coached by Jochen about how to say something carnivorous, and then come back. Your head won't explode, Natasha. I promise. Or don't. I don't care.
I mean, I would like to do that, but I'm not sure how would you feel about that, Rian? What do you think of that?
Why do you care what he thinks?
I want to be careful in case he wouldn't want that.
If he has the balls that he claims, he'll tell you that he doesn't want you doing that. Let him be the ownership of his own experience. Stop catering to his smallness. Stop treating him like a mouse. Let him stand up for what he wants or doesn't want. Let him. It's great feedback. In 2 hours, if he's like, I hated it when you went into a room with Jochen and were trying to be carnivorous with him, why didn't you say, I'll go in? That's great. You're actually having some communication about things that matter. Anyhow,
What it would be carnivorous?
I don't know. Go talk to Jochen about it. He's Norwegian. They have a whole different thing about carnivorousness. Ask questions. You're an
Okay.
adult, Natasha. You can ask anybody anything.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
Okay, go. Go to room. What's available, Alton?
One.
One. Go to room one, Natasha. Have fun. Why
How
don't
do
we
I do
think
that?
of this?
How do I get there?
Fuck, Jesus Christ.
I will assign you to room 1.
Thank you.
See.
Okay, getting back in the groove. It's great. I have more clearing markets here.
What?
I'm appreciating how you show up in group and directing people.
Maybe if you spent some time in Hang, you'd see it more often.
I did. That's what I was saying was really inspiring. That was just yesterday. Holy, yeah.
Lacey, you're looking really pleased with yourself.
I'm also driving, but I'm just staying here anyway. But I'm wondering if you have any direct advice for how to overcome being totally fraidy cat, low self-esteem person story.
Start doing the things that frighten you, but you think will lead you to where you want to be in 6 months. And it will really help if you get a wing person.
Wing person. Okay.
Yes. You say, hey, I'm going to go do the strip club thing. They have an amateur night. So I'm going to go. And if you make that happen, I will give you $50 or 100 or whatever it is.
Okay.
Incentivize people to make what?
Oh, there's a part of me wanting to be like, I do some edgy things, but not edgy things that's actually edgy to me, just edgy to maybe some other people. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Lacey. Edgy to, look at that smile. Now, you really, if you're going to talk about racy things to you, you may want to turn off the phone.
If I want to talk about racy things, I might want to turn off my phone.
Yeah, I'm a Jewish grandmother, so the thought that if you're actually operating a car and talking and thinking about multiple things, I don't like it.
Not the best?
No,
okay.
I don't like it at all.
I appreciate that you care about that. It's probably a decent idea not to.
Rosie, how did you do?
I'm just gonna listen, guys.
I give myself an A-.
Okay, so take him back in there and go for an A+.
Wait,
what?
Norman, give me an A+.
No, he did the sub is going to grade you? What kind of idiocy is that?
You get a definitive A.
Fuck yeah.
You really did something. You really had him do something that, in your estimation of Norman, took him to an A level of bottom. Norman. Really, Rosie? I'm asking. I'm not saying whether you thought it was A. I'm asking, did he think it? As a top, you're looking over there.
Ask him.
No, I'm not. This is your training as a top. You get to look at the pixels. If you're going to be a professional at this, you get to look at Norman. You get to see what his hairstyle looks like, the glasses, how he's showing up, what his face looks like. And you get to say, I'm going to get this son of a bitch to a 92 out of 100.
Yes.
And you think you did that?
Satisfying percentage to get. An A- is so satisfying.
Okay, fine. Who are you going to take next into a room?
I'm going to take a break.
Oh, Jesus. What a wimp. So just to flip things up, Rosie, take Norman into a room and flip your roles. Do the switch thing. Yeah, that. Remember, Rosie, if you're practicing being a sub, the top can do no wrong.
Can do what?
No wrong.
I know. I'm so bratty as a sub.
So take him in there. Go see what it's like. Or not. Sit here. Look at rose petals. Who's Norman?
Who's Norman?
Yeah, Norman's Fathom is on.
One of these
Alton
AI
and I share the same fascination with AI, it seems.
Ah, okay.
They'll transcribe the meeting and summarize.
Somebody left. Oh, Bear left.
Oh, she teleported. So I guess I'll join her.
Oh. Evil Alton. Evil Alton.
That's something
Oh,
I'm moving
yeah.
more into, is how to embody more evil patterns.
Yeah, but and you got to be real clear that when you're playing these games, getting their voice consent is really important.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just turn into an evil. If it goes well, you'll be praised. If it goes badly, you'll be damned.
And why?
How you doing, Rian?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Horrible.
What got you down?
What's got me down? Idiocy. People taking very small swings.
How do you evoke bigger swings?
I'm
If what's
trying.
happening is not
I'm
working?
trying. It's really hard when you've got these little tiny people holding on to these little tiny pee-wee bats. And they're all dressed up in their armor and they're like, I'm not coming out. No, it's dangerous out there. People are throwing balls around. It's dangerous. Hey, you work with what you got.
Tell me more about the patterns of the people who you like having on here so I can continue inviting them.
Fiery.
What'd you say?
Fiery.
Fiery.
That's all we really need. The mice are fun because they like to barbecue. They like being barbecued at first, but if they're really mice, they'll abandon ship after 3 or 4 times. It's just too much difficulty maintaining flame when you're a mouse.
Who's fiery? So would you say Kate's fiery?
Rion's actually very fiery, but he's doing his damnedest not to be.
Yeah, experience Rian is very suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Oppressed?
Well, yeah, oppressed, a little bit depressed too. Feels very like a lot of energy goes in and it sinks. And I'm feeling fiery is like someone who stirs up and like they get riled up and they're like,
yeah, but nobody's getting riled up.
Well, no, that's what. Well, that's one. I'm wondering who.
Lacey's good.
Okay. What are the signifiers for you with Lacey?
She has big hips. Rian has big hips too, but he's been, he does that sort of like focused thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Big hips, did you say?
Yes, big hips.
Like big birthing hips?
No, it's wrong kind of hips.
Okay, got it. I'll have to look it up.
Praise dictionary. Good luck with that. She's bringing shoes back. Oh, she's got more plants. Yeah.
I have to keep a low profile or Alton might kick me.
Yeah, you don't want to get kicked with any of those faggoty pointed shoes he's got.
Digitally, I meant.
I feel surprised that you would take that seriously.
Who's taking it seriously?
You seem petty like that to me.
Ooh, the first fish slap. Yay! The nice thing is about people who slap you with fishes, they usually aren't carrying any significant weaponry.
That's how I'm experiencing. I'm like, well, I want to engage with things that will sharpen up me, but this is just.
I don't think you stand much of a chance getting sharpened up with masculines.
Hmm.
With mackerel.
He's there. He's there. You need Lacey to tie you to a bed and make you thrash, Rian. Yeah.
Not good at actually, never mind.
Speaking softly.
Very good at that.
Yep. Guess it's time to check Facebook. See if anybody's actually watching.
Wondering if anyone in this group is already living a life that they really like living.
I am.
Me.
I thought you were, Craig. I can't actually hear. I don't know who's saying stuff because I have my video phone down.
Rian says he is.
Okay, got it.
Are you, Lacey?
Not quite yet.
What are you missing?
Who's asking me this?
Rian.
Rian. What am I missing? I don't know. More skin in the game. More like actual direct contact with the things I'm actually good at and doing that in the world, and more people that I'm actually respect and admire in my immediate world.
What things are you doing in the world?
What's that?
What things are you doing in the world?
It's a good question. What am I doing in the world? I tend to be around a lot of people that need help. That's something I do professionally and non-professionally. What's that?
What kind of help do they need?
I don't know, like insight, confidence, support, and I guess if I'm working mental health sometimes. So, but it's what else do I do?
Do you consider insight skin?
What's that?
You consider your insight to be skin?
No, it feels too easy. It feels too like conceptual. It's like offering support and being needed by people is really comfortable, but actually leading and putting myself out there as somebody with any type of authority or leadership in the things I really love doing feels like terrifying in a way that I don't usually do it.
What things do you really love doing?
I really like circling and I guess like facilitating circling shadow work stuff. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess what Cray says sometimes about maybe you need to pick up certain books before you actually get to the book. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what I want maybe. But it's not what I'm doing now. I don't
Yes, what you're doing now, Lacey, sucks ass. How you're being right now,
a cooler life, and then
sucks ass.
Yeah. Okay, tell me why. How?
Because you're being polite, you're being non-commentable, you're being there's no teeth, there's no feel of you. There's a bunch of words, there's no passion.
Word salad.
Yep.
Well, not word salad so much as just vague words that don't have any correlation to substantive actions.
You sound like him. You sound like Rian.
Well, honestly, I think I would really like living with people that want to make an experiment of like actually going into, I don't know, development, the self, truth in a way that most of people in society aren't into. I think I'd like to deeply live with people like that and teach, I don't know, or have a family. I'm not sure. That's scattered sounding. Hey, I should get more clear.
No, you should just take
on
some
this.
action. You can spend the rest of your life trying to
Take
get
some
clear.
action. Stop living in my cottage by myself.
So,
Do something different.
I mean, to put it bluntly, Lacey, it's like, how do you have orgasmic sex with life?
Ugh, good fucking question.
You're not doing it now.
No, I mean, the places I most like, honestly, this will sound weird,
Please
when I do
tell me
like,
some more stories.
ah,
Give me some more explanations.
I like humor and intensity and like theater and improv and stuff like that makes me
Evidently
really
not.
happy. Yeah, like I think it'd be fun to, you know, like sword fight Ukraine. That's just something about that would feel really fun and comical to
Then
me.
try it now. Take a stab.
Take a stab. Okay, well, who do you think you are with your shame-based modalities, knocking everyone's feet out from under them, thinking that's the way to grow, and really that just puts them down in their fucking shame hole even more.
Yeah,
Lift
as
them
long
up
as
with
they're
some
children,
positivity.
as long as they're going to continue to think and act like children, that will do exactly that. And then sooner or later, people are going to say, what is this shame bullshit? Yeah, you're right. I am going to smack you like the little baby that you are until you stand up and take a swing back.
But that sounds like old school ideologies.
Then fine,
don't
go do
always
what you
work.
want, Lacey. Go do what you want.
No, I'm trying to sword fight with you. Don't
You're
tell me
not
to go
doing a
away.
very good job.
Okay. I'm afraid. See, I don't like to be. I don't want you to reject me from your hangout space for sword fighting you too aggressively.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you think that's going to happen? That shows what an infantile thinker you are.
Yeah. I love your sigh.
Lacey.
Yes.
You look at Alton. I have been dancing with him for 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years, and I haven't left yet.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think he's actually stuck a sword in me at all?
Probably not. So,
Rosie, could you hide your pleasure anymore? Did he have you drinking out of a dog bowl? So, Rosie, from over here, it looks like you were met in being a sub. That actually, it looks much more important to you than being a top. In this moment.
Why do you want to top?
Don't answer.
Go ahead and answer. Why do you want to top?
I want to give the people what they want.
Good girl.
That he called you a girl. That's the first bit of language that you're going to look at him and go, maybe not. I'm not into infantile power games. So if you're going to call me an infant,
smacking babies.
And you also have to give them something to climb up out of their holes with.
Rosie, what was it like to have a dom who wanted to be called boy?
Like at first it was jarring. I'm like, I don't know the script, but I think yeah, I think you did read me. I think you chose it for a reason.
So, Norman, you're going to look at her and you're going to say, Rosie, if you can't answer the question, don't try. I'm going to try it one more time, Rosie. And if you can't answer it, don't. How did it feel to have your top tell you to call him boy?
Rosie, if you can't answer the question, don't. But I'll give you another chance. What was it like feeling wise to have a top that wanted to be called a boy?
No comment.
Okay, so she fucked up. As a bottom, she fucked up. She didn't listen to your instructions, and she's a bit of a brat. So this is when you would just walk away. Don't ever get into power plays with brats. She's trying to top from the bottom, which is her reflex. She really wants to relax into this, but she's terrified. And so she's going to brat you because in her mind, that shows that she's fighting back when she really wants to relax. And so don't ever fight, just walk away, withdraw from the things. You can say something like, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Do not engage with me for 5 minutes and walk away. What's happening in your belly right now, Rosie?
Are you talking to me?
Rosie, there's only one of you here, yes. What's happening in your belly? Okay, that's all. That's fine. That's fine.
Why did I watch Mysterious Skin?
Did you watched it?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
That was a good movie. I like the blonde.
Did it hit you in a emotional way? Does anything hit you in an emotional way first?
I wouldn't know how to judge.
Now you're smirking.
Well, I tend to do that when I'm on the back foot.
Yes, so why don't you try answering when you're on the back foot?
I genuinely don't know how to ascertain.
Ooh, Jesus. Yeah. So, Rian, you need, I think, that you could benefit from getting somebody to tie you to a bed until you were thrashing. So that you learn that you can have big emotional experiences, outburst, and your head doesn't explode.
I definitely have big emotional experiences, just not
Then,
about me.
then how do you know if Mysterious Skin didn't emotionally affect you?
Just because I didn't experience it as emotionally affecting me doesn't mean that it may not have been subtly affecting me in some subconscious way.
Yeah, and yeah, and you could be thinking about Martians on an unconscious level. Yeah, that's a philosophical truism that doesn't mean anything. Okay, fine. I won't talk to you then.
No, it did not affect me in
Okay.
a discernible way. Still curious what made you assign it.
Because I think that you remind me a lot of the non-blonde person.
I don't see it.
All right, that's fine.
Used to want to look like him though.
Yeah. You're not going to get out through your brain, Rian.
Not gonna get what?
You're not going to get out through your brain. There's no escaping through your brain.
And then how does one unprickle?
Through your emotional body.
Why emotional and not physical?
They're linked.
Well, so is my head linked to those two as well.
Here we go again. Because I don't think it's your body that you're afraid of. I think it's your emotions that you're afraid of.
Doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that's fine. Got to do what's right. Rosie, don't stop. Keep exploring. Drag somebody off to another room and push the edges.
You gonna tie me to a bed, Rosie?
I got pulled into trying to make Rion feel something.
Rosie, don't
Right.
stop.
It's Rian.
Don't stop. Keep pushing.
Shouldn't be that hard. I was just bawling yesterday to music, so.
Okay, Ria, join me in room 1 if you want to feel your feelings.
In one?
That's what she said.
That has people in it already. Let's see what happens there. Okay.
Yeah, luckily you don't have the rules that I have. Norman, why are you
What?
hiding behind Clark Kent?
Oh,
Oh my God. Are you, do you do the transvestite thing?
what's that?
Dressed like a woman?
Oh, drag?
Yeah, drag, sorry.
I have it. I've been more curious about it.
I think you would be great. I think you would have a great deal of fun.
I've done it before in high school,
Mhm.
dressing up as Britney Spears and then try to sing her stuff in Mandarin horribly, but it was so fun.
Why are you hiding behind Clark Kent?
I don't yet know how to show up outside of that.
Where do you live? If you can say, I mean, don't break any confidences or anything, but if you live in a major metropolitan area and you have friends
Mhm.
who are more like what you want to be than not, ask them to take you out. Ask them to help you. Ask them to help you dress up.
I'm in LA.
You have. What is no, come on, Norman. What's keeping you from lighting the match to that fuse? It's a really short fuse. Oh, God, you're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Why? Is the social work thing that tight?
I think I've long constructed some weird outer persona that's all calm and collected. But I feel like the real me has a little bit of that, but is a lot more perverse and hypersexual and all the things, and I don't know how to wield all that in the world.
So there's so the first thing you want to do is you want to friend me on Facebook, okay? And then I'm going to introduce you to a woman by the name of Caitlin. And she is in California someplace. And she would really enjoy helping you find your way to expressing those other parts of
Mm. I'd love that. The creators I'm most drawn to are the ones that dare to almost like exist beyond a genre.
you. Like,
There's a guy named Meat Canyon, and his niche is taking child cartoons that we love and corrupting them and making them demented and horrifying.
yeah, that's totally you.
Like,
but does he have your flair though?
no.
Okay, so you got to be so
Okay.
Norman, from the old man, pay more attention to the flair than the perversity. What do you want, Ariel, with your big smile?
Hey, Cray. Hi, Alton.
Hey, I want to learn from Ariel how I can learn from her fire. I also want you to be really gentle and inviting towards Ariel.
What's your favorite form of fire, Ariel? Yeah, that one.
What does that mean?
If you could look at being a human as being on a fiery spectrum or a very cold spectrum, like ice and fire, you can engage with things. They can be wiping your ass. They can be, doing fire dances. They can be chopping eggs. They can be doing anything. And there is a fiery quality that you can bring to it. Now, in your monoculture, maybe Norman won't see it because he's from maybe a different monoculture, but in your fire culture, in your culture, you're like, and
I love it. Thank you.
so in the thing that you don't mind being broadcast to the world, what's one of your particular fiery things that you like?
Okay. Well, I think you are being really kind, and I appreciate that.
That's fiery.
Well, maybe I'm misunderstanding your definition of fiery, but for me, it's joyful.
That I'm obeying you.
I would say maybe being kind might be my terminology, but yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm just so Alton, I'm not using any what I think is really inflammatory.
Okay.
I would suspect that you really like having your hand on the leash of a collar that's
Alton, you said that
attached.
you should be nice to me.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's nice and not nice to you.
Let me just say this. I didn't join this podcast or whatever you want to call it to be, made fun of. I just joined because Holton asked me to. And
Ariel, making fun of you is the last thing I want to do. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you saying that like seriously? Or are you saying it because you're like, wow, you're so awful. I wouldn't want to make fun of you.
No, you to me. Can you see Norman? Are you on a phone?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, flip over to Norman. To me, Norman is insanely beautiful. Okay. As honestly I can, he stuns me with his beauty. You stun me with your fire.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you express it a lot, and that's fine. Norman in his life doesn't express a lot of his flamboyancy. That's fine, or his beauty. He shows up as Clark Kent, who's very androgynous, big but androgynous. Oh, just watch him eat a guava or a mango or whatever that is.
What
Anyway,
is your intention for this session?
Who are you asking?
I was asking Cray, but I'd love to hear yours too.
you choose well too.
Hmm.
My intention right now is to do everything I can so that you don't leave, Ariel.
So that what?
So that you don't leave. If I have to keep my mouth shut for the next hour, I'll do that.
I do only have a few minutes, just independent of the like, you know, how the session goes. I just happen to only have a few minutes.
I don't know how you do it, Alton.
I'll answer. Serendipitously, I saw a message from Alton and I felt this like little Norman like brighten up with joy, like, oh, a chance to reconnect. And I had been on this in this experience before, and I remember having a more challenging interaction with Cray before. That also had a little bit of the same inquiry of like, why are you hiding? And so I'm now delighted by that question.
Alton, you can't have two people like this. It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
It's too good.
And I don't think you have any idea.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Alton, for inviting us.
I don't know, you are insanely lucky. And I wish to God that you knew how to dance with them better.
That's why I'm here. And I want to learn from you around as to what flavors. You mentioned fiery, and I experienced I was very fiery, and I'm like, wow, that's something I could.
Yeah, but how do you, again, Ariel, if the slightest bobble, just go away, okay? And
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
How do you get those coals to flame? How do you get Ariel to come over and be okay with the coals that she is? And how do you give her something so that there's some of Norman's, you know, fireworks? I don't, yeah, how would you find something so that Ariel might experience flare with heat? Is that
I thought
okay,
you weren't
Ariel?
gonna be mean to me.
That's not mean. That's very
like a little mean, but okay.
Why? It's just my opinion. Do you flare with can you do heat and flare at the same time? Ariel?
I'm not sure what
Oh,
you
okay.
what you mean by that, but yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. Rosie?
I mean, I could be wrong too. I have no idea.
Sounds like some experimentation and feedback might be in order. Yeah,
I
that.
specifically told Alton I didn't want any feedback on the
I'm
call. I
like-
just came
I'm
to
like-
listen and be present
Then-
with Alton.
Okay, then
Okay.
mute the visual and mute your vocal.
Okay.
What?
Is that okay with you, Alton?
How's it? I don't understand how this. Well, I wanted to learn from Ariel's fiery intensity.
Okay. Okay. I'm open for it.
And I'm
We
hearing
only have a couple minutes though, because I do have to go.
Got it. And you see, you don't want to feel poked. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how well I will be trying on new gears in connection with Cray. You also, and I'm also hearing that there's a concern around having me feel poked. Is this really? Okay.
I'm okay with you being poked if you're okay with it. Like, you know, you being poked is fine with me. Like, it's not my business, but I just had requested and would still appreciate just gentleness with me. If you're open to do that.
Yeah.
The first part is really good, Ariel.
And?
Your boundaries are great.
Okay.
But asking permission is not necessary.
Hang on. So I also had it that she's not asking for feedback. So my intention was just to like witness and like to learn how she shows up in a space, and then it's to model that or map that, and to be able to meet and have more fiery dances with Ariel and like with my entire life. So I just want to feel protective around what Ariel said she was available for. And
so
yeah,
Alton,
already.
you can have insanely fiery dances with Norman. If you can, you know, kick Rosie in the ass a few times, maybe. All right. And you have the little nuclear holocaust in the making of Ariel. You know, so where is it that there's fire everywhere. You could have fire with Yokin, supposedly.
How would I evoke more of the fiery dance connection with Ariel?
That's really hard because she looks like she has very, very sensitive boundaries around fire, around feedback. And she's showing up as being very demure, sort of like Miss Natasha here. But Natasha's going to swing. You're going to put her in the cage and you're going to say, okay, chickie, let's see a swing. Let's see a do something freaky. And Natasha's going to be like, oh, fine, okay, fine. Ah! You know, and she's going to do something. It's going to be mousy, but she's going to do something. Ariel looks like she's a little bit more hesitant.
Yeah.
She wants a much safer place.
That's right. Yeah. This context is definitely
not good.
Domains, but yeah.
Who? Okay. Ariel?
She's gone. She's gone.
Oh.
Natasha, according to Yokin, did you display any carnivorousness? Natasha.
Oh, I thought you okay. I thought you said according to Yokin, so I was waiting for his.
It's Norwegian. It's Norwegian carnivorousness.
Maybe not. I think more just speculated what that would be like and how to do it in different contexts.
Okay. Much like a Norwegian would. So he played true to form. He played true to form. He talked about it.
Oh, yeah. I found it comforting, at least.
Yeah. Yay. The mouse has been comforted. But you got some batting practice in, Natasha. You went into a room with a strange Norwegian, had a conversation about what carnivorous might be or might not be. Your head didn't explode. He's got no stains on his shirt. And we're good.
Yeah, I feel slightly more in touch with my inner fire, I guess. Now it's like since I put more attention on it in that environment.
Okay. Ugh. 45 minutes. I'm not gonna last.
What do you have a bottle of whiskey, Craig? Come on.
I did. I've already had some. I can't have any more.
You can't handle your booze?
No. I'm a very cheap date.
What are you thinking, Rian?
Looking for a suitable.
You look sort of disappointed.
Do I?
I'm not sure if disappointment's the word. It's like
Pissed off, angry, rageful, homicidal.
Rosie had me kissing the floor.
Not a stretch.
Not a stretch for her to do that, or not a stretch for me to do it.
No, I don't think it's a stretch. I don't think for you to do anything physical would be a stretch.
True.
You being moved by Norman, that would be a stretch. Yeah, I know. I think.
Very movable.
Not physically.
Sure I am.
Alright.
Give me a push, Norman.
He's gone.
Oh.
I'm back.
What are the signifiers you're noticing, Cray? In connection with
what?
Norman?
What do you mean?
Every time he's like drinking or eating, you like seem to have like something
He's
happen.
struggling not to be flamboyant.
He's
Yeah. he is like, I am going to be Clark Kent. And he's in control, and he is not going to let that other part out, except when he gets a compliment, and then he'll be right back. It's amazing. He went and changed. No feather boas, but yeah.
The other outfits that are more flamboyant would be too hot right now, weather-wise.
Well, I guess you need some more wardrobe then. Especially if you're in LA.
I was more thinking some less wardrobe. But anyway.
No, flamboyancy is not about the amount of skin you're showing. It's about the style. God. You're ridiculously hot, Norman. Just over the top.
A hard time to see again.
Again, you're dealing with a crazy old man. And so I see your public face, okay?
Yeah.
And your public face is very Clark Kenty. And so I'm just listening to what your private face is doing. And your private face is just outrageously gorgeous. So I'm not reacting to Clark. Clark's boring, but that's what he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be noticed.
That really pokes at the thing. It's probably some desire to be invisible.
But the thing is that you have a do you know, is shit test, is that normal? People know what that is? It's the test you're putting out there to see if people really are what you want them to be. Clark Kent is a shit test. If you really didn't want people to know that Tina Turner is live and well, okay, nobody would know. But you give out little subtle hints that Tina Turner, my age, okay, I don't know what yours is, but you give out little hints that she's in there, he's in there, whatever you want to call
I want to stop hiding.
it.
I want to stop hiding.
Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. You want to find more outlets.
Yes.
Because you need, if you're going to sing opera, you're not going to go to the Met the first day. You want to go get lessons. You want to get good at this. All right? So you want to find more creative. Now, right now, this is my prejudice, okay? You're looking at lots of fireworks, but you're going to be way more effective being subtle. You're going to get much bigger bang when you're being old school, seductive. Yeah.
I like that.
Jesus. You're really distracting.
Cray's already sizzling.
Yeah. I have no problem with that.
Have you always been this free when it comes to sizzling? Or like,
Oh no, I grew up where I was never touched. My parents never asked me anything about school. There were if there were emotions, it's time to call the ambulance. A lot of work.
what were you like at that time?
I was a little shithead.
What is that like?
I was very intellectual. I was cruel. I was obese after I was about 7. What else? An outsider, didn't have any friends. My father was with foreign service, so we would jump from country to country every 15 months. So it was a hellish life as a kid. And being serially sexually abused didn't help either, but hey, there you go.
Interesting.
That's one way of labeling it. You must have had an interesting childhood. Yes, I had a very interesting childhood. So Norman, if you look at Natasha, this is her public face. This is her Clark Kent. But she has no vocabulary for the other thing. She has no way of giving hints out. So with her, this isn't a shit test. Technically it's always a shit test, but for her, there's nothing, there's no fluency. There's no other vocabulary. You at least have the other vocabulary. You have the other skill sets, dance moves.
I'm excited to play more with the different outlets. I think that's definitely been on my mind and brought more to the surface after my breakup. I'm like craving movement, art, aliveness, poetry.
Can you imagine going clubbing with him? Or whatever it is you guys call it these days? I mean, it's Norman says, "Hey, there's this. I'm there. I'm there. I don't care what it is. You don't want to know what people are going to be doing. No, I don't care. If you're interested, I'm going." Hmm.
What does that particular reaction mean?
It's a very it's tasting something that I find very rare and exquisite, and I don't. There's not a lot of it in my life. And so being able to be in the presence of somebody that exudes that. I'm 65. I'm sorry, Norman. We have to be back by 7 p.m. Sorry, not the next day, 7 p.m. Today, we have to be back for my nap.
I feel like you would be a great time at the club too.
You, Norman, you really, it would degenerate.
It might cost
really
something.
fast.
It might cost something, but
Norman, they would be paying you for bringing me. Because what I encourage to have happen. Luckily, I don't do that anymore. So. Norman, look at Natasha. There's the beginning of hunger there. Now, where you would go, people are already used to baccalaureate feast. Okay? They're already used to going off the deep end. And all I'm going to do is say, okay, guys, gals, whatever, let's stop fooling ourselves. Let's not do 2.5 hours of foreplay. Let's just get down to it, shall we? And Norman, don't pass up the opportunity to relax into somebody's arms and be held. It's not all flash and glitter.
That's actually what I miss most in this heartbreak.
Yep.
It was simple. It wasn't flashy. We didn't even speak the same language. And that forced me to stop relying on cerebral me and instead connect as a human.
You gotta kidnap him, Alton. You gotta kidnap him, chain him in the basement.
Norman, what would it take to have you come up here to Evergreen? Marin.
I've been wanting to, you know that. It's never been an absence of desire. It's always just been difficulty like figuring out the
Norman,
finances.
what kind of lube do you need?
Swiss Navy and gun oil.
There you go. Oh, man. He could teach you so much about being touched, Alton. He could blow your mind with how he responds to touch.
I have been very touched by Norman, and so it has this beer. And thank you.
He has, I mean, no prejudice, Norman. I'm sorry that you have to exist in these times.
It feels that way sometimes. But if I were to show up, Alton, it would be beautiful to help you experience the delight of touch that is not processed through this.
Alton, I highly encourage you to make a date with Norman. And you let him lead. And the only thing you get to bring is your avocado. Your safety word. That's the only thing. Otherwise, you let Norman lead.
Thanks.
Yeah, make it start off. I mean, if you're lucky, he'll say, I want to come, I want to be near you guys. I don't want to actually be in that house with a bunch of reptilian children.
Reptilian children?
But see if you can do an hour just to prove that you can do it. Then see if he's willing to do a 2-hour date, and then see if he's willing to do a 4-hour. And make sure you compensate him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you feel about group work? Both Cray and Norman.
Alton, first, you go out there and be the model. You go experience what Norman may be able to bring to you. Afterwards, you can talk about that. But right now, you stay inside your body and your experience and see if what Norman can do. Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to fall in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't snicker, Norman. If you can do what I think you can do, there's going to be people falling in love with you everywhere. Natasha, what are you doing?
Trying to watch what was happening without looking at it, so I could just look at the psychology more, maybe.
Oh, yay, Rion's on fire. It's a raging forest fire. I used to fight forest fires, Rion.
Rian.
I know.
And who were you talking to?
You?
I don't see a Rian here.
Oh, I mispronounced your name. I'm sorry.
Lie.
Yep. La-di-da.
Why do you like to mispronounce Rain's name?
So he puts things like that in his background. Playing his game his way is going to lead to nice, calm seas, according to his definitions.
Being called by my name is playing my game my way.
One of the ways. Being nice, being politically correct.
Correct.
In your world. I'm not saying according to the rest of these reptiles.
Everyone's politically correct in their own world.
Yep. How do you think that landed?
Same way everything ends.
No, how do you think that statement landed?
Oh, it landed?
Yeah, there's 5 people here in your audience. Everybody's politically correct in their own world.
I don't really care.
Yeah. We all get that. We all get that you don't care. Really. We all know you're a good mechanic in a lot of ways. And we all get that you really don't care as a public face. Careful, Natasha.
What?
Just because I can do this doesn't mean that you can do this.
Okay. Will you keep going?
I don't know. It's one of these things where, you know, there are steps. And so we started out here, and I think we're right here right now. And it's really interesting. This is Rian's beauty, like Norman's, except his isn't as mobile. I don't know.
What do you mean by this? Like up here?
He and I have been climbing or descending into intimacy, step by step, in my world.
Mhm. Where's the ceiling with this?
I don't think there is a ceiling. I think that would be death or a black hole experience of some kind or something like that.
Okay.
Plants? Come on, Jochen. Oh.
Great. Any suggestions for what dances to have with Rosie while she's here?
As with most of the feminines of your tribe, how do you get them into their experience rather than their intellect? And not have it be reactionary?
Yeah, I mean, holding clean, crisp containers.
Yeah, that's the difficulty. I mean, Rosie, she's making noises about being a top or a bottom. And it's just like, how do you gently I would have her dance with Norman.
She seemed to really enjoy the doing and then reflecting rather than the other way around.
And the same exercise with you, I would have for her with Norman. What can he create as an experience for her in physical touch? Oh, God, what a smile, Norman. Oh, you're killing me. Stop it. Jesus. Frown. Oh, yeah.
Do you have any other pointers for how to get them more into their bodies and experience?
You have to do something to their bodies and make it not over the top kinky pony rides.
Alton, have you ever done contact improv?
Yeah. It's one of my favorites.
Not like Norman's done it. Oh. Have you ever done naughty or dark contact improv, Norman?
I haven't, but I feel like I could make it.
Yeah, good. So what?
What is contact improv?
summoning?
It's a type of improvisational movement that kind of looks like dance from the outside, but you don't know what's happening. You're not planning or choreographing anything. So it's almost like spontaneous dance that doesn't have vocabulary in the usual sense. And
Set
it's
in
very
structure. Does not set
freeing.
in structure.
Yeah. It's a lot more just like exploring how your bodies move together and apart, and how that, and from that emerges art.
Okay, Allison, you're here in the last 15 minutes. You got anything, or you're just spectating?
I feel curious about the physics of calling someone into their bigness. I was chatting with Lotus earlier, who's in a course with Alton, and she was mentioning how the two of you occur to her as like making maybe default negative assumptions about people.
Can
And yeah, then I was asking Alton some questions. I feel curious if you or he, like, what you think the mechanism or the physics of calling someone into bigness is. Like if you do it by pointing out
Okay.
smallness, or if you do it by encouraging the things that are already doing.
Okay. So we're all traumatized in one form or another to be our public face. Usually we're with people who are telling us to be small in some way. Stop yelling, stop crying, stop being emotional, stop being feminine, stop being masculine, whatever. So we have these little things. So one of the things that you can do is you can show up as an antagonist, right? So I'm going to show up with Natasha and I'm going to call her Mouse. Now, I'm pretty sure that in her life, she has been called Mouse or Mousy or something like that many, many times. So I'm going to provide the stimulant, okay? But then I'm not going to do anything nasty. And so she has this chance to step into the trauma pattern and make another choice. Does that make sense, Allison?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I'm hearing you say the physics of it is to be an antagonist by gently pointing out the ways in which someone is small, and then
Gently,
stepping
not
back.
gently. I'm having a hell of a time at 3M. So.
And then, but then I hear you say that the important part is stepping back and creating space.
Not so much creating space, but keeping contact. You have to stay within there's a proximity. Like if you get too far back, you become not the thing. You have to stay within a minimal. When I was dancing with Norman earlier, and he was and I had to make sure that I didn't get too far away from him, even though part of me wants to be very far away from the attractiveness. All right. So I have to maintain what I think is a distance so we still touch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is, yeah, it does. So you can't create too much space because you're actually playing an active role as the antagonist. But then what is the ideal outcome of this antagonism? Okay, so I'm the antagonist who's calling you a mouse. I'm here being the antagonist, doing that. And then
so that they're not ashamed of being a mouse anymore. Shame will still come up about being a mouse. Shame will still come up about being beautiful, but it's like, oh, in this space, it's actually okay. I can choose to be that or not to be that or something. That you're not.
I'm lost on this part though. How does that eliminate shame?
It doesn't. It's no longer that shame. Shame's always going to be there. Natasha, whenever anybody calls her mouse from now until she's 99, no matter how much she does, neurological patterns are going to still activate and still have a little bit of shame come up. But I'm giving her exposure therapy to where it's not just shame. I'm pairing.
Which is doing what? Creating agency?
It's creating a different come from. It's like Norman, me being really okay with his beauty. Clark Kent has no beauty. But I'm sitting there with Norman and I'm saying, I understand that you're doing Clark Kent. We're very clear about that. And I'm saying there's this other part of you in the shadow, in whatever you want to call it, that is exquisitely beautiful and just is moving me to tears. And so he's sitting there going, wait a minute. As Clark Kent, he's going, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And then after enough exposure, he's like, oh, okay.
Well, that makes sense for a quality that has a positive undertone, but what about if you're describing something that has a negative undertone, like telling someone that their ideas are pathetic, for example, as a way
For a
of
man to be
pointing
beautiful
out
is
that they are
culturally
small.
inappropriate. The standard thing. So for Clark, being beautiful is not good. For Natasha, being a mouse is okay.
Okay, but what about this example from Lotus of like maybe telling her ideas are pathetic? Like in what world is that? Like, how do you categorize that?
I'm saying that in my opinion, her ideas are pathetic. Now she can look at that and say, wait a minute, and she can get reactive, which I expect most people to do. They're going to go with their standard reactivity. And then I'm going to sit here and say, I'm still here. I'm not providing you with the abusive follow-up that your history tells you should be happening.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rian is a little bit different. In my world, that shell is only going to come down if it explodes from the inside. There's nothing I can do. There's no way of tickling him. There's no way of complimenting him. There's no way of being value positive with him that he's going to take down that shell. This is my opinion of his reality. This is not anything else. And so what I got to do here, and Rian is really clear about his backgrounds. He's switching them up consciously. The emotional impact of them, I don't know whether he's aware of that or not. But given that he's as brilliant as he is, I think he's pretty clear about that. So he can't do it, but his background can. He can't be a raging inferno, but he can put up a picture of one. He can't see a lot of stuff, but he can put that up there. Every time that he's being value negative to me, that's a compliment.
What's the compliment?
You're affecting me.
Hmm.
You're touching me. You're on the inside, you son of a bitch. And he is very clear about skill. He may not, his psychology may not like it, but the part of him that has a great deal of affection for his skill level, he's like, I may not like him, but that son of a bitch is good. The same compliment that Norman is paying me right now. Norman knows about his ability to affect people, or he's suspicious about it. I don't know how to pronounce any of those names, MAB, but that's a hell of a collection you got there. So again, pointing to something, being upfront with it.
Misha's largely listening, but maybe back next week.
Allison.
What would you want to be asked from Misha based on how he presents?
Really? I would expect a scientific question pointed at mysticism.
That's largely the community overlap, you know.
Yeah. Allison, what's your lineage?
Lineage in what context?
The thing that you think of favorably about yourself. You don't look like a natural. It looks like you've been to school.
The thing I favor about myself, like the way I occur, or the way I show up, or what?
I don't know.
Like dolphin dance? Is this?
There's something about that Allison walks into a room and there's something about her that she values. I don't think it's your eyeglasses. There's something else that you're working on to make better.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look like you're doing it from a naturalistic perspective. You're trying to learn something. And so I'm interested in what the lineage is, what the teaching is for you, where you come from in a practitioner point of view.
I think I am still drawing from multiple modalities and trying to hone in on exactly what my flavor is. The flavor that I'm really favoring the most right now is like holding gently and the lineage of holding gently.
I admire that. I don't think that the human species has enough time for that.
Well, I felt like I got enough of the fire when I held the Dragon Academy program here in the February. Like that program was so much fire and it felt like there was not enough water and not enough air to go with it. So now I am complementing my work with an infusion of water through the dolphin dance aquatic bodywork practice and seeing how I can complement. Basically I felt that my experiences with you and with Alton and with Skyway, essentially I felt like I was having so many peak life-changing powerful experiences that I actually was almost to the point of blacking out and ceasing to really create memories and fully integrate what was happening. And so what I've been looking for in the last 6 months has been how to make sure that I'm creating enough space in between the highlight peak experiences or really important, meaningful moments to actually make sure I'm integrating memories.
That's a mouthful. How? What the fuck is that?
It was just to say, I would like to say something.
Well, just say something then. Jesus.
Okay. What do you think the human species needs because it's so pressing?
I think it needs, in the larger frame, it needs de-self-identification with your primal character. That's the big thing. But if there isn't enough speed and deep traction, I think it's over. Like people who are paddling around in the shallow end of the pool, you know, being very careful about safety and being very careful about personal feelings and historical If the people who are being too cautious, I don't think there's enough time. Personally, that's what I think. I think that the toxicity is ramping up too fast. And so I think unless there are...
You do of throwing people off the deep end?
Yep. I'm going to lose 90% of them.
But for you, that's advantageous to taking more people along at a slower pace?
I think that I'm interested in creating people who are going to be able to teach the skills necessary to make the transition. So I'm trying to teach teachers, not students. And there's nobody, there's no school that I know of that's going to say, oh, go talk to the crazy man. Okay, nobody's going to do that. But there are people who are here, the 10% that are listening and taking it as a science, not as a personal experience, but as a science, that are starting to make things happen, in my estimation. Maybe too late, but we're doing the best we can. I'm doing the best I can. Take 2 weeks, Allison, and just dance as hard and as fast as you can about Allison. Don't worry about the memories taking hold, and see what happens. If you can, take 2 weeks and set yourself up for a series of those peak moments. Give yourself 2 days to come down and see what happens. Don't accessorize. No ayahuasca, no plant medicine, no dolphins, just you and people. Or do it in a week. But try to give it at least 3 or 4 days of a deep dive into deep experiences. And don't worry about the memories taking hold or not. And then come up, say, okay, did that silly stuff. And now I'm going to give myself 2 days in at some nice hotel someplace with good food, and just see what happens. I think that you're a lot more nimble than you give yourself credit for. I think that you're integrating in ways that your mind may not be aware of, and that's okay. Or not. It's just
And for what purpose? What is the purpose of the deep dive? I mean, I'm hearing you relating with others as the dance without other supplements, but to what end?
Because in my personal opinion, I would like to get you away from how you think things are supposed to be integrated. I think that you're hobbling yourself unnecessarily.
Okay. That's a lot of letting go of control.
Oh no, not that. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Allison. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
how
go
could you even
there.
that's such a thing?
I'm so sorry.
I'm just meeting you for the first time, Allison, but this is the first time I feel like I'm seeing you like alive.
Thank you
Hence
for the
call.
reflection. I feel alive.
I would love to get you a Freudian pipe, Allison,
To do what with?
so you can know when you're trying to stay in control. Whenever you see it there, you're like, oh shit. Unnecessary control is one of the problems, Allison.
Yeah. And it's in this instance, the last few months in particular, it's a result of really losing feeling like I really lost the ground under my feet. So there's a bracing that happens and a struggle to kind of hold on and feeling like you're holding on for dear life. And then when you finally get onto the ground again, like, oh God, never doing anything like that again.
May I, Allison?
Keep everything really easy and safe. Sure, always.
I would encourage you to experiment with losing ground is impossible. I can have the experience of losing ground, but that's my psychology. That's not me. My psychology is going to throw losing ground or losing contact with the ground at me in a last ditch attempt to stop me from going someplace. It is impossible to lose contact with ground. Just see what happens if you take that stance. That no matter how bad, no matter how crazy, no matter how fast, you're like, oh shit, it is very fast. This is very foreign, and ground is still present. Westerners tend to conflate performance with ground. Good night, Jochen.
Thanks, man. Good to see you.
Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't have said that last one. Oh, shit. I'm 5 minutes over.
Good work, Ray.
What's
I'm
that
taking it
smile,
offline.
Allison? What is that? Wait. What is that?
It's like my mind noticing my protective mechanisms of fear fighting back against what you're saying.
Yep. Good.
And seeing if I can just let them go back out again.
Yeah. All right. One more, Allison?
Sure. Yes, always.
No, don't say that. Take
Yes.
each one
Yes.
as they come up. Okay?
Yes.
And pay attention, because sooner or later there should be a no, and that's fine.
That's okay. I understand.
Okay. So the fear is just as meaningless as loss of ground. It's happening. Absolutely, it's happening. Absolutely, it's happening. And you don't have to pay it any attention. Clouds going by. Oh man, I should get a telegram next week that you're in Nepal teaching the Dalai Lama some shit.
That could happen.
I have. Anything else, Mr. Alton? Can I go? Mika, be kind to me. If you
Thank
show
you.
up next week, you be kind.
Great work. Thanks, Greg.
Okay.